Cleveland 16-yard line. To the run, to Van Eeghen, not much there. The Cleveland defense braces and strikes back at Van Eeghen, a power runner from Colgate, who again leads the Raiders in rushing this year with over 800 yards.
I hate to see him. I hate to see any offense that thrives on running the ball on first down, trying to gain 4 or 5 yards. When they can't do it, continue to try. And they've been effective throwing the ball a little bit now in the second half. Those runs are almost a waste of time. Alzado's out.
Let's see if they start pitching now. Elvis Franks, a pass rusher's in. Plunkett's looking to throw. Firing. Raymond Chester, a hand on the ball at the goal line. It's going to be 3rd down and 9 for the Raiders now. This is the way the secondary sees it.
And I'll tell you what, the vulnerable area right now, because the footing is better, is in the middle of the field. Plunk's lined up. He sees Raymond Chester. Would have been a great catch. Very tough conditions. Clarence Scott's a step behind. The ball's thrown a little high. Very seldom you see it that uncongested in the middle of the field.
3rd and 9 now, so if the Raiders can't make this one go, they'll be sending out their place kicker, Chris Bahr. Cleveland's leading 12-7 in the 4th quarter, 10:54 to play.
Got him jumping offside.
Plunkett sacked on a blitz by Clarence Scott, but there are penalty markers down the line of scrimmage. Browns all left early, but they might have been drawn off. Nat Millen signaling.
They might have been, but I doubt it that time. It looked to me like 2 of the...
On the sideline, Millen is signaling. No, he gets his information. It's against Cleveland, but he's right.
That was a blitz. They were trying to get to Plunkett quick. When you've got a blitz called on a day like this, you better get to the quarterback quick.
End right, the referee.
Defense offside.
The whole defense. So the Raiders are beneficiaries of that penalty instead of Plunkett getting sacked for a big loss. It's now 3rd down and about 3.
Tom Flores down there looks like it's just another day at the plant for him, but I think a lot's going on inside.
I'm sure he's churning inside, but he is a very stoic figure on the sideline, shows virtually no emotion. Jim Plunkett looking into the end zone. He throws, he makes the connection. And down is Kenny King at the 2-yard line. It's a first down for the Oakland Raiders as Ambrose knocked him down. So the Raiders now have a chance to take the lead if they can take it in. 1st and goal inside the 3.
Very well run pattern and a well thrown ball. This is a lot harder than it looks. Plunkett puts the ball right on the mark to King, who's going laterally and still finds a way to elude 2 tacklers before Ambrose gets to the ball. Watch King. When he makes his pattern, he stays under control, gets underneath the linebackers, gets the ball thrown at just the right time, gives him a chance to pick up the first down inside the 3. And we're going to take another look at that. You see Clay Matthews just missed him. Those are important misses.
These are tough yards, though. Here's Van Eeghen putting his head down close to the goal line. The clock runs inside 10 minutes to play now. 9:55 left to go. Cleveland leading by 5 points. But the Oakland Raiders almost down to the Cleveland goal line.
Just about on the 1-yard line down. That's a big play on first down if you pick up 2 yards. They seem to be having a little more success to the right side where Mickey Marvin and Henry Lawrence are playing. They've at times created pretty good movement. I think they'll go there again.
Van Eeghen. No signal. He didn't get there. The Browns hold again. Their defensive line stops the run again, and now it'll be 3rd down and goal. Coach Flores.
Don, again, you get the feeling. Now watch the offensive line surge. You'll see very little of it. It comes to a standstill. You're just trying to find any crack you can. They went over Marvin and Lawrence again with Dalby helping. Everybody got knocked up or knocked down. They settled on the 6-inch line.
And now Jim Plunkett wants some counsel from the sideline. As we have 3rd down coming up, the nose of the ball almost at the goal line. Now 4th quarter, 9:26 to play in the game. And the Oakland Raiders trailing by 5 points. John Brody.
Don, you know, when they went over on the sideline, they called a timeout to make a decision. Are they going in 2 downs, or are they going to try for a field goal? They're going in 2. I don't see any way they'd try.
Plunkett might call his own number. Van Eeghen makes no doubt about it. Mark Van Eeghen crashes into the end zone, and the Oakland Raiders take the lead. The Raiders take the lead 13-12 with 9:22 left to play. Van Eeghen with 2 touchdown runs from a yard out.
Don, I do not know what the effect of the wind is, but I notice all the drives have been going this way. The way the Raiders are going right now, it seems to be a little bit easier to move the ball down the field. We mentioned that Cleveland was getting the best of it early in the ball game. They did not turn any of their plays, their drives into touchdowns. As a result, Oakland comes back late with a little bit of momentum. Now they've got the lead 13-12 and the right direction.
Statistician Steve Dan's pointing out that one was an 80-yard drive in 12 plays. Chris Bahr tries the point after. He makes it go. And so Bahr with his second conversion after a second Mark Van Eeghen touchdown run, and the Oakland Raiders have 14 points on the board and a 2-point lead with 9:22 left to play. The Browns get the kickoff when we come back. Second time in this playoff game, the Oakland Raiders have come from behind, and now they lead the Cleveland Browns 14-12 with 9:22 left to play in the game. Chris Bahr kicks a short kickoff. Fielded on the second hop by Dino Hall. He's been a great player today for Cleveland, and look at Dino Hall take it out across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Chris Bahr, the kicker, finally got him. This Hall's had a big day for the Browns.
Sure, he had a big day, and I'll tell you what, the kick looked as if they might get lucky. It depends on the bounce, but look at the kickoff team in the center of the field. Generally, they're selling out, they're going all out, trying to create any sort of action they can to let their pals recover for them. Now they're backing off at the 30-yard line, trying to keep from allowing any hole to develop. However, it does. They can't get their footing. Hall finds a hole, almost breaks it for even farther.
24-yard return of that kickoff by Dino Hall. The Browns know how to come back, though. They've come back all year. They lost their first 2, 3 of their first 5. Then they ran off a 9-win and 2 mark the rest of the regular season to win the AFC Central. Now they have to come back again. Sipe throws long. Pruitt cruising over near the ball, but it's out of bounds. Ryan Sipe went down. Matt Millen came on a blitz.
They're going to try to blitz him a little bit more, because playing that man-to-man defense, you don't help yourself by dropping your linebackers into the pattern when you're leaving a one-on-one situation out at the corner. So they're going to try and get to Sipe any way they can. Very difficult with the down lineman getting to the quarterback because of the footing. But if you can fool somebody and break a linebacker clean, you can disturb his pattern.
That was what they were concerned about, giving Sipe enough time, because the bump and run takes a little while for the receivers to free themselves. Sipe looks, throws an out pattern. Greg Pruitt going for the ball. It's going to be 3rd down.
For some reason, it seems to be a bit harder throwing the ball into the wind. Not that it always isn't a little bit harder, but the wind doesn't appear to be as big a factor if you look at the flags and the way they're blowing as it is in the production. Neither team's moved the ball very well, going from left to right.
Eight minutes and 58 seconds left to play in the game as the Cleveland Browns break the huddle. 3rd down and 10 coming up. Cleveland now trailing 14-12. Blitz, Sipe stands in, he throws. Rucker goes high, but it's incomplete at the 40. And Cleveland must punt the ball back to the Oakland Raiders.
You know it's going to be a blitz situation, Don. Hendricks is fiddling around at the line of scrimmage. He tries to find an opening, creates a little bit of movement, but they pick it up pretty well. Mike Pruitt stays in there, takes him out of the play, but they couldn't get anybody loose downfield.
You remember Johnny Evans' last punt with the big roll, 61 yards. His longest of the season. And Raiders have a couple of guys back now. Ira Matthews is back along with Keith Moody. High punt. Fair catch is signaled for and made back at the 27-yard line. Keith Moody gets the ball for the Raiders, and the Oakland offense comes back out. So the game clock shows 8:45 left to play. And the scoreboard shows the Oakland Raiders. If you're seeing this next week at San Diego, that's Lake Erie. And you can walk all the way to Buffalo right now. Handoff. Kenny King to the 31-yard line. Good gain on a 1st and 10 run. He got to the 31-yard line. Gain of almost 5. Robert L. Jackson and Lyle L. were on the tackle.
Kenny King's coming off. He's had a bad ankle down throughout the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season. It looked as if he'd be healthy starting the ball game, and it's held up throughout the first 3 quarters of play, but he limped off on that play, and that's a big minus as far as Oakland's concerned.
Remember the one game we saw him at Denver, John, when he was limping going into the game.
Yeah, well, he's been limping in a lot of them, but he's been playing well anyway. Handoff.
Arthur Whittington runs, and not very far as Robert Jackson puts him down and adds something to it.
Tell you what, the enthusiasm hasn't dwindled on either side today. There's a lot of hitting going on. Both sides giving up ground grudgingly. I don't think the ground's the place to travel today.
Kenny King, who averaged 8 yards a run as a senior at Oklahoma, and it's been a big factor in Oakland's success this year going off.
One of about 8 acquisitions, that's all.
Clock is running with 7:30 left to play in the game. 3rd down and 6. Plunkett stands in, swings it out, and Arthur Whittington has the ball. And the Raiders have a 1st down out to the 42-yard line. Charlie Hall makes the knockdown.
You just see them every time they throw that ball to their backs on little crossing patterns, against the grain patterns. They get the linebackers in their deep drop. It's a gimme. We saw him throw it to King on a 3rd down situation on their way in for a touchdown. Now we see him get their backers back, throw it to Whittington underneath. He picks up a 1st down. That's when it's tough for the defense to operate.
Tough for everybody to operate today in a frozen playing field. They're doing remarkably well. Van Eeghen on a 1st down carry gets nothing. Derek Jensen in the game.
In my opinion, I don't think Cleveland respects the throw on 1st down. They know that Oakland's tendency is to run the ball every time they have a 1st down, unless they throw it deep. Well, you can see Andros is jumping in that hole again, as he's done all afternoon, and it's almost impossible to blow people out of there.
Clock continues to run, 6:20 to go. 6:20 to play in the game. The Raiders holding to a 2-point lead, have it 2nd down and over 10. Lost about a half yard. Plunkett getting more time, looking to run. He's going to get hammered, and coming up to get him is Elvis Franks, a rookie from Moorhead State. Elvis Franks took aim on him and then swooped on over and made the knockdown.
All right, it looks like, hey, Jim, come off to one of your halfbacks. But if you watch closely, you'll notice both of his backs are in there trying to help him block. He's got 3 wide receivers down the field. He's trying to wait for one of them to break open. Gets plenty of time to throw, but he has no one to lay the ball off to.
Nobody at all. And now 3rd down arises, so the Browns, unless the Raiders can hit the big play, will get it back on a punt. Clock running, 5:50 to play. Oakland 14, Cleveland 12. AFC divisional playoff game. Now we have a timeout call.
Those timeouts could loom large down the line. Both sides. Yes, sir. Now they have 1 left.
From games, the outcome has been decided in the final minute. Once it was decided after time had actually elapsed in that game of Minnesota on that desperation pass. That was a loss, but most of them have been victories. The pitchers compared there, Brian Sipe and Jim Plunkett. Jim Plunkett has his work cut out now, as do the Raider blockers, as they have 3rd down and 19 coming up. They go to a draw, and Mark Van Eeghen crashes ahead, and they stop him short of the 1st down.
That's a good call. I know you'd say, hey, we got to try and get the 1st down, but they're 3rd down and 21 or 22 or 19 yards to go. That is an effective call. It changes the field position. It allows Oakland to punt on 4th down, get Cleveland back inside their own 20, and it's been very tough moving the ball from your own 20-yard line today. Van Eeghen makes a fine run, picks up about 14 yards, 4th down and 5.
So the Browns will get it back. The Cardiac Kids, they call them in Cleveland. They got songs about it. They have a song about the Cardiac Kids to the 12 Days of Christmas tune. It's sold 150,000 copies so far. Dino Hall standing back. This is Ray Guy, who really put away the Houston Oilers near the end with those booming punts time after time.
And his punts have been a big factor today.
Hits it high, but not very far. He's got to talk to Johnny Evans. Evans gets his to take a big hop.
It's like playing in an ice cone with a 150-degree compression ball. It just doesn't come off your foot.
Not very well. It hasn't come off the feet today. Next Sunday, January 11th, the San Diego Chargers meet the winner of today's game for the AFC Championship. Of course, the winner of that goes on to defend the AFC in the Super Bowl, where 7 of the last 9 champions have been American Conference teams. NBC's coverage begins at 4:30 with NFL 80. Join host Brian Campbell for an inside look at the AFC Championship game. And then the matchup at San Diego. The Chargers, the home team. The victor here will be the visiting team. And with the Raiders up 14-12, the Browns have a long way to go and not a whole lot of time remaining.
But they got a whole lot of enthusiasm existing in the stands. They've stood up right now. They know the game is getting underway.
4:39 left to play. Brian Sipe calls his own number. Takes off. He's not. Oh, free football. A free ball. Lester Hayes again goes up in the air about 10 feet, so that means the Raiders have the ball.
Don, you just know there's a chance of a turnover when a quarterback has to run the ball and cannot find an area to get out of bounds. 3 or 4 times in a ball game, if you get away with it, you're fortunate. Here comes Hendricks trying to put some pressure on Sipe. Henry Shepard has him patrolled. The problem was Reggie Rucker fell down just as Sipe was trying to hit him. That's the only option he had left, and that ball went popping.
Burgess Owens, who came to the Raiders for a 6th-round draft choice from the Jets, where he'd twice been a Pro Bowl player.
I don't know who hit him, but there was quite a collision in there.
Well, the Raiders get the ball on the turnover, and they have it 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. Now they'll look to run the clock. And Eeghen runs, and the clock continues to wind down. 4:18 to go and running. Robert L. Jackson made the stop.
Don, they'd like to do 2 things. They'd like to run the clock, but they'd like to get the ball in the end zone.
Oh, yes.
How many times have teams been ahead of Cleveland with 2 minutes to play or less, put Brian Sipe in a position of creating the decision of the ball game? And there's something about the last 2 minutes. Things seem to go right when they're playing in Cleveland Stadium. So if you're Oakland, you got 2 considerations.
Report from the sideline, John, and Lyle Alzado leaving the game. He has the flu and had to go out. 2nd down and 9. Here's Van Eeghen. Thundering runner takes it down to the 16-yard line.
That was a big 7-yard gain, my friend. He got it to within 1 yard of a 1st down. There's 3:30 left to go in the ball game. That keeps the clock running, gives them an excellent chance to pick up a 1st down on 3rd and 1.
Van Eeghen's been a money back. He said he might be unknown in certain places, but he knows he's not underrated in the National Football League. For 5 straight years, he's been the leading rusher for the Oakland Raiders, a number 3 draft pick back in '74 out of Colgate. The only Raider ever to rush for 1,000 yards per season for 3 consecutive years. He had some injury problems this year. Got up to 838. So in the playoffs, he's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher for the year, counting all the games. And he's the money rusher for the Oakland Raiders, as now they have it 3rd down and 1, and right back to Van Eeghen. Mark Van Eeghen takes it into the middle and gets it down to the 14-yard line.
Boy, it's very close to a 1st down. Just depends on the spot.
2:50 to play. Raiders think they have the 1st down.
This is when 1st downs become all important, and I don't think they got it. Looks like they spotted the ball about a foot short. Now it's decision time, because if they didn't get it, do you go for a field goal, take the chance on it being blocked, but get yourself over 3-point lead? They're about 6 inches short.
Of course, the Browns could still win it with a field goal. They're down by 2 points.
Short yardage situation. The Raiders are going for it, but look at Dick Ambrose. He knows where the ball's going. It's the inches that make the differences in the big games. Ambrose has stuffed the middle all day long. 4th and an inch.
And the clock running. 2:39, 2:38 left to go. Oakland 14, Cleveland 12. 3 tight ends are in. Derek Jensen in motion. They go to Van Eeghen.
He didn't get it.
I don't think he got it. The Cleveland Browns come up. Making the strike was Robert L. Jackson and Dick Ambrose.
The lineman cleared out the lineman, and the linebackers took charge.
The Browns offense has come out. They're quite sure that Oakland didn't get there, but the ball has to be spotted, and then we have to check.
Well, if they spot this one over the first down marker, they have made an unjust decision because those linebackers are on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Ambrose again, yeah. Robert L. Jackson.
No way he got there.
It's very close by the spot, but no, that's correct.
All right, they start up in Cleveland.
I wouldn't feel too good if I was an Oakland Raider right now.
They are ready for another Cleveland Brown finish. Fasten all seatbelts. Fasten all seatbelts. Here we go. Down the stretch. The Cleveland Browns with 2:20 to play. Brian Sipe takes a look. Throws it downfield. Incomplete. Came in on the one hop. It'll be second down and 10. He was going to Reggie Rucker. And the game clock is down to 2:17.
We've mentioned what a difficult job both cornerbacks have had all day long. Dwayne Osteen and Lester Hayes. They've been put in one-on-one situations all day. Go along with Mike Davis. Now they're in a 5-back defense, but these fellas have had to play those wide receivers for Cleveland man-to-man all day long. Sipes had plenty of time to throw. Whatever way it goes, it's been a heck of a performance on their part.
A throw down the field. The ball is caught by Ozzie Newsome, and he almost broke it. Ozzie Newsome gets out to the 44-yard line. And on second and 10, the Cleveland Browns get the big gainer. And the clock winds down to 2 minutes.
Don, anybody can fall down in conditions like this, but watch Sipe hang in there. You talk about great quarterbacks. He got absolutely level, but still had an ability to get the ball off down the field to Ozzie Newsome. We mentioned one-on-one coverage. Otis McKinney falls down, but watch this play. To get a hold of Ozzie Newsome, he saved the touchdown. That would have put Cleveland on top. Instead, they've got good field position, but they're 2 points down.
High interest rates keep America from buying the fuel-efficient cars it needs. It's time to do something about it. Starting now, when you buy a new U.S.-built 81 Chrysler, Plymouth, or Dodge passenger car on credit, you can deduct 7% from the sticker price, including options.
30 below zero in Cleveland, Ohio, but the heat's on now. 2 minutes left to play, and the Cleveland Browns on a 29-yard pass play have the ball out to the 43-yard line. John, what about the strategy of Oakland?
Okay, you can say, why didn't they go for the field goal? They were not automatic. They've made about less than 40% of those tries. They know if they can keep the ball, they can then run out the clock. If not, they have to kick off. Field position would have been good, and Cleveland still has to score. They had to move it just as far to kick a field goal as they would have had to make a touchdown.
Sipe lets it go long and overthrows Greg Pruitt.
You know, so often, Don, you get into strategy situations and you don't take the field conditions into effect. It would have been a very safe choice for Flores to say, okay, kick the field goal, and then we're taking the safe way out. We can grab ourselves a 5-point lead, which wasn't automatic. But if we can make 1 inch, we can gain control of the ball, run the clock down, and then we'll put the icing on the cake. I'd say it would have been easier to pick up an inch than kick a field goal in that situation, so I've got to agree with it no matter which way it comes out.
1:54 left to play. 1:54 left to go. The Cleveland Browns come out. Second down and 10 at their 43. And they trail 14-12. Sipe hemmed in, grabbed by Big Bear John Matuzak. They blew it dead at the 45, so it's going to be third down and about 9 now.
I would expect them to call a timeout. They've got 3 remaining. That's 2 of them.
They do. 1:48 left to play, and the Cleveland Browns signal for and are allotted a timeout.
You know, Don, so many times the team will ask, and I've mentioned that Oakland has been playing bump and run, man-to-man defense all afternoon. It's the personality of Oakland to do that. Lester Hayes is one of the few fellas that can nullify a receiver in a bump and run and still be quick enough to catch up with the ball after it's thrown. And for them to go in a zone at this point would be totally against their personality and make it very tough. They're still keeping a free safety back there. They figure that's the way to operate.
They didn't take a timeout. 1:24 left to go. Third down and 10. Sipe throws. Incomplete.
Oh,
There's a penalty marker down, and it'll be a first down for the Cleveland Browns at the 44-yard line. Reggie Rucker was interfered with.
You can see the two officials saw the play simultaneously. One of them thought it was a penalty, one of them didn't. The flag was thrown. He had a perfect angle on the play. Looked to me as if Osteen got away with a little something. Those fellas are watching close.
Game clock, as you see, down to 1:19 left to play. The season ends for either the Cleveland Browns or the Oakland Raiders.
Illegal contact, number 35, at 5 yards and a first down.
Dwayne Osteen bumped and ran a little bit farther downfield, and you're allowed to.
What he did is he waited on him, Don. He waited on him down about the 10, 12-yard line, was going to jam his route, and made contact, and that was the call. It was not interference. Contact down there at 10 yards.
But the Browns would have come up with 4th and 10 had that penalty not come down. Now they have it 1st and 10 at their 49-yard line. 1:19 to go. 14-12 Oakland.
Monty Jackson in the ball game for the first time.
Sipe stands in, throws. Greg Pruitt caught the ball inside the 30. Greg Pruitt, who's had an injury-troubled year, the great back from Oklahoma, goes down the field and goes up in the air and comes down with the ball at the 28.
They're picking the vulnerable area. They've got Osteen in the middle of the field playing man-to-man on a back. Sipe is not going to let that go untried. Osteen's had a lot of success. He's lost a few throughout the afternoon. But you can see he and Mike Davis are having all the trouble they can have inside, underneath. They're going to try to go to Ozzie Newsome or their back.
Greg Pruitt's caught 5 balls today for 37 yards. That was the biggest one, as the Browns now have the ball at the 28-yard line with 1:12 left to go. Cleveland trailing by 2. Sipe looks at a blitz, lofts the ball up. Ozzie Newsome catches the ball, but he's ruled out of bounds at the 20-yard line. And the game clock is down to 1:06 to play. And something.
It is. It's almost expected. When you see the Browns with the ball at home with 2 minutes to play, this game is just getting underway. 2 points down. Field goal is not a certainty if you get it within the 10-yard line. You can recall they missed an extra point. They've missed 2 field goals from close range going the exact same way they're going now. If they have a chance, they're going to try to get it in the end zone.
2nd down and 10 coming up for the Cleveland Browns. Rucker and Dave Logan deployed wide to the right. Newsome is split out to the left at the top of your screen on 2nd down and 10. A draw play to Mike Pruitt. He's inside the 20-yard line. He's down inside the 15-yard line. He's down to the 9-yard line, the 14-yard line. And he has a first down for Cleveland. Big call and a big result.
They call timeout. They've still got 2 left, though. 56 seconds left to play. What do? You run the ball in the line and think Cockroft can go down the field, kick it from 30 yards. They've got 2 timeouts left, but really, Don, in my opinion, they better try and score it. Sipe will throw it in the cheap seats if anybody's covered, but I think it's easier to complete a pass than it would be to convert a field goal.
Short field goal attempts are no good deal today in this cold. Don Cockroft, 2 of 4 today.
If you're an offensive quarterback, I will not try Lester Hayes, though.
They've done that a couple times and come up empty, and Lester's come up with the ball twice and no-shows.
That's support. It's been a great football game, no matter how it turns out, Don, under the most inclement conditions I've ever seen.
There's been a lot of great plays in very adverse conditions. That's true. Now it's 1st and 10 for Cleveland. Back to the run. This time Oakland's looking for it. Ryan Sipe signals for and gets a timeout with 49 seconds to play. Mike Pruitt carried the ball.
I think the last time they called timeout, they came over discussed it, said, let's see if we can break a draw on 1st down. He's going over to the sideline, in my opinion, to try and get that ball thrown upstairs.
That end of the field has had sunshine on it most of the day. There's a little less frost on it than the other end, the closed end. But there's a lot of ice down there.
Well, we've seen one ball mishandled for an for a fake field goal. We've seen 2 balls missed on field goals. We've seen an extra point hit the uprights, and I haven't seen anything go through down there.
49 seconds left to play in the game. The Browns, Brian Sipe, Sam Ratigliano. What a combination they've been. Sipe was on the bench when Ratigliano came here. Ratigliano waiting a long time to get here.
Here the discussion took place. Sam's elected to get as much as he can on the ground, I believe.
Right up the middle. 49 seconds to go.
Wrong.
Into the end zone. Was it intercepted?
I think Oakland got it.
Oakland intercepted the ball.
Michael Davis is the man that picked it off. That's just a great play at a very critical time. It even looked like Newsome might have come up with it. The Raiders didn't believe it for about 5 or 10 seconds. It was a one-handed stab. He was one-on-one with Ozzie Newsome. How he came up with that ball is a miracle.
41 seconds left and the Raiders intercept. And they might have iced this one, no pun intended.
Newsome he thinks the ball's going to get to him. Okay, here's Davis. All day long, he's been one-on-one with a free safety, but so what? You're not going to get that much help because he can't get started. Newsome's trying to run his pattern. Davis cuts in front of him, picks the ball off. That's just a fantastic interception.
It really was. Mike Davis intercepts. Lester Hayes had 2 earlier. And 41 seconds are now separating the Oakland Raiders from the AFC Championship game next Sunday at San Diego. 37 seconds left, 36. Browns call a timeout. 36 seconds left to play. NFL report is next. We'll be talking to some of those Oakland Raiders if they prevail in this game, and right now the odds are greatly in their favor after the brilliant interception in the end zone by Mike Davis, strong safety in his 3rd year out of Colorado.
I'll say they're in their favor. All the quarterback has to do right now is fall down on one knee. The Browns have 2 timeouts left. That is not enough to stop the clock from running off 36 seconds. And I'm sure that Sam Ratigliano is going to be in a position of catching a lot of flack because he didn't go for the safe decision, which would have been to try and put Cockroft on the spot to kick a field goal. But in retrospect, I have to agree with him. Brian Sipe, I think, had as good a chance to throw a touchdown pass as he did for Cockroft to kick a field goal. Now, that's up for anybody's conjecture, and it's easy to have 20/20 vision after the fact. But in fact, if he had his decision to do it over again, considering the outcome, obviously he'd have a go at the field goal, but he doesn't. That's what put head coaches on the spot. He's been right an awful lot of the time. This time it didn't work out that way.
Well, the Browns are here because of Brian Sipe and the year he's had, but now the Oakland Raiders coming up, as the Oakland Raiders have done so many times over the years. In the big games, they're so tough to beat. The winningest consecutive years franchise in the history of the league. 16 straight winning seasons at Oakland. And now the wild card Raiders, as the clock winds down inside 20 seconds, are ready to head to San Diego in the AFC Championship game against their arch rivals from the AFC West, the San Diego Chargers. And you'll see that next Sunday, beginning at 4:30 here on NBC. What a victory for the Oakland Raiders, coming from behind twice in this game. And they win it as the clock goes down and out.
And let me make one comment, Don. The Cleveland Browns were knocked out of the playoffs the same way they got there. In the last couple minutes, Brian Sipe brought them back, got points on the board, brought them in.